It's Brittany, bitch. And I am back.
When I wake up in the morning and the alarm gets out of warning, I don't think I'll ever make it on time. By the time I grab my books and I give myself a look, I'm at the corner just in time to see the bus fly by. It's alright, cause I'm saved by the bell.
Hello and welcome to Saved by the Bell Boxing. Neither right, neither left, neither orthodox, neither southpaw. Just a ramrod job. I always say job. Ramrod jab coming straight down the pipe like, I don't know, like Larry Holmes. Classic jab. Watch him if you haven't. And it's heavyweight week, so let's use a heavyweight fighter. So I'm back in the van. People like my videos from the van. I don't know why. This van cost me 600 quid. I love it. It's diesel. And so it broke down yesterday. That's what you get for 600 quid. But I got it fixed. Well, I'm on the way to get a new battery. But it's kind of good that I get to do these videos in the van because it makes it easier when I'm on the move. I can do the videos rather than talking to myself. I can talk to you people, all 50, 66 of you who kindly view my videos. Anyway, so this week, as you know, I'm doing a daily video to the build-up. Now, day one was talking about the fight itself. You know, different things that could play out, sort of thing. You know, what happened in the previous fight. And then day two, we talked about the undercard. We talked about the open workouts. And then I got to day three and I'm thinking, don't know, I'm running out of ideas now. This is what happens when you say you're going to do a video every day. So I've run out of ideas. But I thought, well, I just can't come on and say, oh, thanks for watching, got fuck all to say. You may think that anyway. But what I will say is that I thought that maybe we could talk about, or I could talk about, and you can listen to and put in your comments, because your comments are well received and I love them. And can I kick it? Yes, I can. Everyone will know the reference. Well, a certain person will know that reference. Anyway, so I talk about the heavyweight division as a whole, and where Anthony Joshua and Andy Ruiz go from here, win, lose or draw. Now, I read today that Anthony Joshua said that there's going to be a trilogy. So that would kind of make sense that there's going to be a trilogy, because, well, will there be a trilogy if Anthony Joshua loses? Probably not. But he's obviously confident that he's going to win, so hence he's going to say there's a trilogy. Obviously, Andy Ruiz has put in his contract this time that if he loses, there's going to be a rematch. Cleverly done and well done. So that could tie him up, this could tie these fighters up until, if Andy Ruiz loses, up until mid next year, summer next year, which it would probably be at Wembley or somewhere like that. You know, a big blockbuster at Wembley. But where do they go? So there's people knocking on the door now for these titles. These titles are being held on to, and there's certain fighters that, you know, that are looking to take these titles away and are starting to become mandatories. But with Wilder being sort of tied up with Fury and Joshua being tied up with Ruiz, it's kind of held these belts hostage, and the rest of the fighters are just fighting between themselves, sort of thing. Now, we know that Alexander Usyk, because he was the unified cruiserweight champion, has now stepped up, and now he becomes instantly mandatory to the WB. I think it's the WBA. So he becomes a mandatory for one of the titles, and then it looks like one of the fights at the weekend, Hunter Povetkin, is going to become a mandatory for one of them titles. And then there's a Pulev option. And then on Deontay Wilder's side for the WBC, it's Dillian White, who obviously needs that. He needs that title fight. I mean, come on, how long's the guy been waiting? Okay, we're all going to say, well, PEDs, etc., but at the end of the day, until that's all sorted, or until that's proven, or whatever the outcome, he still should be, you know, mandatory for the WBC title. So these next two fights for the next fight for this one at the weekend, and then Wilder and Fury, is really going to sort out the men from the boys and who's really going to start being open up to challenging. I mean, in a way, you know, if Andy Ruiz wins, it's going to hold all the heavyweight belts with Al Heyman with the PBC, which will be interesting, because then the power play is on their side, and Sky and Matchroom won't really have that you know, that influence that they've had holding these heavyweight belts. So it's going to be interesting. And then, you know, I think there's a more likely chance that if Fury wins the WBC and Ruiz wins the other titles, or retains the titles, then that fight would definitely be a possibility. That fight could definitely happen. I think that would be a lot easier to make, even though Al Heyman and Bob Arum don't have the best of relationships, but I just think that fight could well be made. As well as I think that you know, Fury Joshua could be made, you know, all English fight, all British fight. It would be, you know, it'd be huge. It would be a huge fight. I think it would be the biggest fight in the heavyweight division. I think it's bigger than Joshua Wilder. So, you know, that could happen. But then the problem being is, though, Ruiz is gonna, or Joshua is gonna have to handle these mandatories that are just sort of piling up. Otherwise, they've got to start dumping belts in bins, as they used to do. Like press conference, putting a belt into a dustbin. It's like putting a cat in a bin. Just don't do it. So it's going to be interesting to see where they go from there. So, you know, all in all, I mean, this is only a short video, and I'm sort of just improvising when I'm talking about this, as you can probably tell. But, you know, it's very difficult to predict what's going to happen. But we know, what we can say is these mandatories are building up. And Usyk is definitely going to be in line for one. Dillian White needs to be in line for one. And then you've got Hunter, Povetkin, all these other fighters. But to be honest, the big players will try and keep these belts hostage for as long as they possibly can. Now, who are the fighters out there, you know, that can win these titles? You know, I don't think Pulev can win a title. I don't think he beats Wilder. I don't think he beats Fury. I don't think he beats Ruiz. I don't think he beats Joshua. So he's out of the question. Dillian White is one of the fighters that I believe that could get one of those titles. It'd be I think I would love to see him against Deontay Wilder. I think it'd be a fantastic fight, and I think he's one that could, you know, he can beat Joshua. Fury is going to be difficult, you know. He can beat Wilder and he can beat Ruiz. So, you know, he's one. Usyk has got the ability, the movement, but still we don't know enough about him to really see if he's got the strength and the power, etc., to live at heavyweight with the top boys, because we've not really seen it yet, even though he's an exceptional fighter. So that will only tell. So in a way, I think in the next 18 months, it's sort of going to play out between those four, and it's all dependent, obviously, what happens this weekend. So it's a big fight. Now, let's talk about the fight itself. If Andy Ruiz Jr. wins, he'll go on. He'll have a couple of light defences. I don't know. Maybe. In fact, I don't know, because I don't know enough about it. If I was him, I'd have a couple of defences. Nice these defences. Cash in a little bit. Hold on to those belts a little bit longer before taking on Tyson Fury or Deontay Wilder. Or even Dillian White. Dillian White might get a shot at him. That could be a possibility. As for Anthony Joshua, you know, well, go back to Andy Ruiz. If he loses, it's no great shakes, I don't think. I think he can come back. He's young. You know, he can come back but the problem is, once you lose that title shot, you go back down the pecking order and you've got to start all over again. But I think he can do that. But I don't think he's going to get that world title shot for many years if he doesn't retain the titles. Anthony Joshua, if he wins, he will go on and more than likely fight those mandatories. Even if Anthony Joshua wins at the weekend, I think he loses again at some point. You know, I wouldn't think he'd go on and beat him for the rest of his career. I think he's showed holes in his work and as him as a boxer that proves that someone will come along and beat him again, you know, and someone better than Andy Ruiz will come and beat him. So he will obviously go on. He might have a couple of soft mandatories or a couple of soft fights, swerve the mandatories a little bit, but it's only till he meets Wilder Fury that I think he'll get, or White, that he'll get beaten again. Possibly, I think Usyk would be a fight that they'd like to put together, because I think he'll think he'll have the size advantage, etc., to beat Usyk. If he loses, it's difficult because he's made so much money. You know, if it were me, why would I go back? That'd be it for me. I'd hang up my gloves. But you know, every fighter wants to prove something, you know, and he'll want to retain again and want to go back again, I would imagine. But for me, you've made your money, you'll be in your early 30s, jack it in, do you know what I mean? You've tried to beat Ruiz twice and failed twice, so to be honest, why save yourself, you know, possible damage coming from Deontay Wilder, for instance? You know, you'll make more money, but you're not necessarily going to win those fights. So it depends if he wants the challenge again, whether he can get himself back off the floor, not literally, but metaphorically. Oh, that's a word. Get him back off the floor and try and like go again to try and gain these titles, because he'll have to step back. Do you know what I mean? And start fighting opponents that really, you know, that he wouldn't be fighting if he was a world champion. So, you know, it's going to be interesting to see how it plays out. There's always interest in the heavyweight division, and we'll always keep a close eye on it, and we're looking forward to this weekend. Anyway, I've rambled on enough. I don't know whether that was interesting or not, but I just felt obliged to do a video today because I said I would, day 3. So like, comment, subscribe, share, all of that good stuff. And remember, be careful out there. Why? I don't really have an anecdote for it. Just be careful out there. You know, it's a cruel world out there. You know what I mean? Anyway, peace.
When I wake up in the morning and the alarm gets out of warning, I don't think I'll ever make it on time. By the time I grab my books and I give myself a look, I'm at the corner just in time to see the bus fly by. It's alright, 'cause I'm safe out the bill. If the teacher pops a test, I know I'm in a mess, and my dog ate all my homework last night.